It's D-U-E-U tell. I see you by this point, you're reading my mind. It's time for football. We about to keep this thing moving. I'm about it, you're with it, let's do it. We gon' make this thing official, you heard me? If you're the best, then let's prove it. The goal is set to have a team become a unit, man. We about to keep this thing moving. I'm about it, you're with it, let's do it. We gon' make this thing official, you heard me? If you're the best, then let's prove it. The goal is set to have a team become a unit, yeah. D-U-E-U.
Welcome to Football Game Plan's NFL All 32 show. I am Emery Hunt, the czar of the playbook, and on today's show, we'll take a look at the Tennessee Titans. And before we get started, let's take a look at some of the key storylines heading into the season as we go into our 4-minute offense. In 2019, the Titans offense ranked 12th in the NFL, which isn't bad at all. However, when you look at the numbers a bit more in depth, you'll see that it was mainly due to their third-ranked run game as they ranked 21st in passing. Now, obviously, they want that latter number to increase this season, and it'll be up to offensive coordinator Arthur Smith, who is entering his 12th year in the league, 10th for the Titans, and second as an OC, to increase that productivity in the passing game. What was interesting about the Titans last year was that they did a great job of scoring, ranking 10th in the NFL. After their bye week in Week 11, Tennessee averaged 35 points a game during the rest of the regular season, and even with that level of scoring, many didn't view the Titans' offense as an explosive one. Smith and company will be looking forward to changing that perception in 2020. Longtime defensive coach Dean Pease retired at the end of the 2019 season. Pease, who spent 25 years as a college football coach before embarking on a 16-year career in the NFL, spent the last 2 seasons as the Titans defensive coordinator. Now, he was a big part in the defensive turnaround over the last 2 seasons as Tennessee saw an uptick in pressure, run defense, as well as turnovers. Heading into the season without him at the controls, expect to see head coach Mike Vrabel become much more involved in calling the defense. Now, Vrabel was an excellent defender, coach, and coordinator before getting the head coaching job in Tennessee, and figures to keep this defense on the right track this upcoming season. So we'll see how much of Pease's influence is still springing about the 2020 version of the Titans defense. Over the offseason, Tennessee was able to strike big deals with 2 of its key players, quarterback Ryan Tannehill and running back Derrick Henry. Tannehill's play helped the Titans balance out the offense and help get them to the playoffs. For his work, Tennessee rewarded him with a 4-year contract extension worth $118 million. $62 of it was guaranteed, and that's a ton of money for the NFL's Comeback Player of the Year, who is also coming off of his first Pro Bowl appearance of his career. The Titans are paying him for what they expect him to perform like in the future and hope it's more of what we saw last season. For Henry, who was a key figure in the Titans' deep playoff run last season, signed a 4-year, $50 million contract with $25.5 of it guaranteed. The former Heisman Trophy winner is also coming off of his first Pro Bowl nod and led the league in rushing yards, rushing touchdowns, and yards per game. He posted back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons and back-to-back double-digit rushing touchdowns. Again, the Titans are hoping that both of Tannehill's and Henry's performances weren't an aberration, but more of a sign of things to come. 2020 will be a pivotal year for wide receiver Corey Davis. The former first-round pick's 5th-year option wasn't picked up and will be playing essentially for an extension in Tennessee or a contract elsewhere. Davis had an up-and-down start to his career, missing some time with nagging injuries, and as a former 5th overall pick back in 2017, the hope was that he would be the bona fide number 1 starter and game breaker within his passing game. However, that role seems to have gone to second-year player A.J. Brown, who ended up breaking out as a rookie, going over 1,000 yards at 20 yards of reception. Davis has tremendous talent, and as he's able to develop rapport with Ryan Tannehill, he should see his productivity increase this upcoming season. Ryan Tannehill played the best ball of his career last season, and that's a literal statement. He posted career best in completion percentage, yards per attempt, quarterback rating, rushing touchdowns, and his touchdown to interception ratio. It's fair to say that he played out of his mind last season, proving to be exactly what the team needed him to be when they benched former starter and first-round pick Marcus Mariota. However, everything wasn't all hot chicken and Bill Street for the 7-year veteran. In the playoffs, when the stakes were the highest, Tannehill's performance was pedestrian at best, only completing a total of 15 passes in their first 2 games, and his overall yards per attempt was a very mediocre 6.7. Now, armed with a fat new contract extension and a ton of guaranteed money, Tennessee is paying him for playoff performances or his playoff performances to get significantly better moving forward. Now behind him, the depth is a bit questionable as they have two inexperienced players in Logan Woodside and rookie Cole McDonald out of Hawaii fighting for the backup role. Woodside has been on NFL teams during the preseason, and more recently he was a starter in the AAF, but McDonald is the player to watch as he gives them much more of what they have in Tannehill than Woodside does. He's a very good athlete and has the ability to make plays both on and off script. He'll be the perfect pet project for quarterback coach Pat O'Hara to get him to fine-tune his mechanics in an attempt to help flatline his game. Last year, Derrick Henry was the NFL's rushing champ, carrying the football 303 times. He proved to be both durable and productive despite the fact that teams knew what the Titans were going to do and yet still couldn't stop it. Henry is a rare big back with breakaway speed and benefited greatly from the competency at the quarterback position as it took pressure off a run game enough for him to navigate. He figures to carry the full load once again this upcoming season. Rookie Darrington Evans out of Appalachian State will slide into the Deion Lewis role on his team. He has excellent speed and is the type of back who doesn't need volume to make an impact on the field, which just pairs up perfectly to the amount of opportunities he'll get this year behind Derrick Henry. Fullback Kyrie Blasingame joined the team in the middle of the season and was immediately impactful, clearing out space for Henry, and looks to handle that role once again in 2020. Where the Titans expect to see the biggest growth offensively is with the receiving core. Last year, A.J. Brown was outstanding as a rookie, going over 1,000 yards with 8 touchdowns at an impressive 20 yards per catch. He was a big play threat at the position, the one that they've long coveted, and he was just like Derrick Henry in some regards, as defenders didn't enjoy trying to tackle him on a down-to-down basis. Quietly, his emergence took some of the pressure off former first-round pick Corey Davis, which subsequently allowed him to stabilize and develop into a solid number 2 option in the passing game. The hope is that he can continue to blossom in that role and crack the 1,000-yard barrier himself this upcoming season. Slot receiver Adam Humphries made some clutch catches last year, showing quick rapport with Ryan Tannehill. I really like how he is able to always find the sticks and work himself open. Now with the Titans' run-heavy offense, the fourth receiver may or may not see many opportunities, but they will be asked to make plays when they do get those opportunities on the field, which is why both Cody Hollister and Khalif Raymond will have to thrive on special teams in addition to their receiving duties. That's a role that Raymond is very familiar with, and when he did just that last year. Keep an eye out for undrafted rookie free agent Christian Wilkerson out of Southeast Missouri State. He's stylistically a cross between Corey Davis and A.J. Brown and could work himself onto the team and up the depth chart. The tight ends play a significant role in the Titans offense, both as blockers and receivers. Jonnu Smith is an emerging player in this league. He finished 3rd on the team in receiving last year and will take over the role vacated by Delaney Walker. Look for him to develop into a Pro Bowl player, in my opinion. I like what they have in both Anthony Ferguson and Michael Pruitt. Both guys are solid blockers that have the ability to find open spots in the zone and have success. I think they round out a very solid unit for Tennessee. The Titans' offensive line played arguably the biggest role in the offensive success after the bye week. It was clear and evident that this unit started to dominate up front, and a lot of the key players actually returned. The left side of the offensive line with tackle Taylor Lewan and guard Roger Saffold returned, as well as center Ben Jones. Those 3 are the linchpins to this unit. Second-year guard Nate Davis out of Charlotte made progress as a rookie and figures to start the year in the same fashion that he finished it in 2019. Now, right tackle is where there are some questions heading into the year as they lost Jack Conklin, the starting right tackle, to free agency. The battle will be between Dennis Kelly and rookie first-round pick Isaiah Wilson out of Georgia. Kelly may begin the season as a starter as he started some games last year, but Wilson is the player with the enormous upside. Right off the bat, as a run blocker, he is devastating in that regard. He's a young player who entered the draft as a redshirt sophomore and has a lot of room to grow in the pass protection department. The Titans have some solid depth here as well with veterans Jamil Douglas and David Keesenberry, but they also spent the offseason strengthening the depth across the board by signing veteran tackle Ty Sombrello, as well as interior linemen Zach Karen and Avery Genesee, who is a key cog up front for the XFL's Houston Roughnecks, helping spearhead the best offense in the league. Moving over to the defensive side of the ball, and all eyes will be on second-year player Jeffrey Simmons out of Mississippi State to be the leader and dominant player up front. Gone is Jarrell Casey, and one of the reasons why the team felt comfortable in moving him was because of what they saw from Simmons, who made an immediate impact once he was cleared to play last year. Now, the team is also expecting tremendous growth from Isaiah Mack as well. He made the squad as an undrafted free agent and played his way onto the field, even earning a start, and will be one of the starters up front heading into the season. The veteran Daquan Jones, who is entering his 7th year with the team, will hold down that nose tackle position, and he'll join Simmons and Mack up front this year. Tennessee signed a long-term veteran in Jack Crawford from the Atlanta Falcons to provide depth at defensive end, and drafted Larrell Murchison out of North Carolina State in the 5th round, who figures to provide versatile depth at tackle. I'm excited about the linebacking core for the Titans in 2020. Starting with the outside backers, they bring in Vic Beasley, the former first-round pick of the Atlanta Falcons, on essentially a 1-year prove-it deal, which should be enough motivation for him to recapture that 15.5 sack All-Pro season from 2016. If he can be as disruptive as he was then, it'll greatly benefit third-year player Harold Landry, who showed excellent growth last year in his first season as a full-time starter. He got to the quarterback 9 times and also racked up 12 TFLs. I believe he's primed for a breakout 2020 season. And we will also get to see 2019 5th round pick DeAndre Walker this year, as he missed his entire rookie season with an injury. He has good all-around skills and is a very strong edge setter and run defender. Tennessee loves what they have in second-year player Derek Roberson from Sam Houston State, who made the team last year as an undrafted rookie free agent and played a valuable role down the stretch of the season, proving to be a tough person to block up front. Look for him to play a significant role as a rotational player this year. Both he and Camila Correa are coming off of strong finishes to the 2019 season and provide good depth along with the veteran Reggie Gilbert. Now, inside backer is strong as well, as the Titans return 2 of its 3 top tacklers, and Rashaan Evans, who was second on the team with 111 tackles, and Jayon Brown, who was third with 105 stops. Both guys blossomed last season as both became full-time starters. There are 2 heady backers that don't miss many opportunities to make a play. And I'm looking to see what growth second-year player David Long can make this upcoming season. We saw a lot of him on special teams last year and figures to see more time within the regular defense in rotation. But keep an eye out for undrafted rookie free agent Cale Garrett out of Missouri. He's got very good range and length on the inside and could be this year's version of Derek Roberson, who ends up making an impact at the second level. Tennessee will be looking to improve on a pass defense that finished 24th in the league. Where they excel is at taking the ball away, picking off 12 of the 14 interceptions they had as a team last season. We saw Dory Jackson make the biggest jump in play last year at the corner position, and as his confidence grew, so did his ability to make plays on the ball and coverage. They get back a healthy Malcolm Butler, who only played in 9 games last year because of a broken arm. They're hoping he can pick up right where he left off from the 2019 season. In the second round of the 2020 draft, the Titans grabbed LSU corner Christian Fulton, who was my #1 boundary corner in the draft class. He could push Butler eventually for that outside role, but will more than likely start inside as a slot corner, replacing Logan Ryan, who was their #1 corner last season. Fulton is going to have a very good rookie year, in my opinion. Building depth on the outside with veteran free agent signee Jonathan Joseph, who can also serve as an additional coach out there on the field. Both he and Ty Smith figure to handle the depth duties for Tennessee. And I'm a big fan of rookie Chris Jackson, the 7th round pick out of Marshall. He can be a core special teamer, but has a lot of Logan Ryan-like ability within his game. The safety spot is in good shape with former All-Pro Kevin Byard leading the way. The 5th-year veteran picked off 5 passes last season and never stops making game-changing plays out there on defense. Both he and Kenny Vaccaro are arguably the best tandem of safeties in the NFL. Vaccaro is the type of roaming enforcer you need on the back end. Look for Imani Hooker to see the field a lot more this season. He's got the instincts that you want and will earn more trust from the defensive staff this season. He and Dane Cruikshank are 2 core special teamers they have in the secondary, with Cruikshank slowly developing into a versatile defender as well. And speaking of versatility, having a player like Kareem Orr, who can also match up and cover in the slot, just helps strengthen this unit as a whole. Football Game Plan is brought to you in part by Ninth and Lux. Visit the website ninethandlux.com and check out the clothing gallery. Do You Music with featured artist IW and his latest album, Mr. Hunter. You can find that available on iTunes as well as Spotify. Nesby Phipps, art, life, entertainment. NesbyPhipps.com. Grind It Out Fitness. Visit the website grinditoutfitness.com and download the app. The Academy of Broadcast Media in Hackensack, New Jersey. Football Game Plan is brought to you in part by Financial Coaching LLC, investment, retirement, security. Stewardship Credit, financial growth is in your hands. Stewardshipcredit.com. Adrienne Marie Photo, photographer, writer, management. AdrienneMariePhotography.com. Lock Multimedia. Be sure to order your copy of the Go-Go Offense by Coach Brennan Marion on footballgameplan.com/GoGo Offense. Coach Marion goes through the ins and outs of his explosive offense, one that's tearing up the college football field and putting a lot of points on the scoreboard. Again, you can order your copy at footballgameplan.com/GoGo Offense. Look for Cole McDonald to surprise many in training camp. He has the ability to connect on a deep ball both inside and outside of the pocket. He'll be a fun player to watch develop this summer. I also feel like many will be surprised at the playmaking ability of wide receiver Christian Wilkerson. We cover a lot of FCS football here at Football Game Plan, and we saw him shine each and every week in the Ohio Valley Conference. Defensively, a healthy DeAndre Walker will prove to be a valuable member to the Titans' rotation at linebacker. His ability to stop the run will be something that many will take notice of during training camp. Isaiah Wilson will make an impact as a rookie. I believe we'll slowly see him earn starts toward the middle of the season and start to find his footing the same way Nate Davis did a season ago. And the Titans, in my opinion, got a steal with Christian Fulton in the second round. He's got the footwork, fluidity, and ball skills that you want at the position. The biggest X factor offensively is Ryan Tannehill. He was able to parlay a 13-game stretch into a huge contract, and the expectations change when you're now handed the keys to the franchise. So we'll see if he'll be up to the task like he was when they needed him to be last season. Jeffrey Simmons will have to be the biggest X factor on defense. The Titans traded away Jarrell Casey, who was a stellar defender for them, and essentially handed over the torch to the second-year player out of Mississippi State, hoping he can pick up where Casey left off. I believe right guard Nate Davis is ready for a breakout season. He showed growth as a rookie and will look to become a key cog in what figures to be another strong year in the run game for Tennessee. Derek Roberson flashed last season as an undrafted rookie free agent and started to earn more and more playing time later in the year. Serving in a situational pass rushing role this season should help him become a household name by season's end. One of the biggest reasons for optimism for Tennessee is the fact that they have a great coach in Mike Vrabel and a great coaching staff. This is a staff that gets the most out of the guys that they have on the roster, and everyone is involved. So you saw that last season play out when they needed to make an overall philosophy switch to go to more of a run-heavy attack. They were able to do that and thrive. This staff does a great job in not only developing talent, but also getting the most out of that talent. You also have to like the fact that they have a ton of confidence going into 2020. This is a football team that got all the way to the AFC Championship game with a great foundational approach to football, as you see right there. Run game, great defense, efficient quarterback play. So it's understandable why many people have excitement about the Tennessee Titans going into the 2020 season. A cause for concern would be if Ryan Tannehill is not able to build on what we saw last year, reverting back to what we saw from him throughout his entire career as a Miami Dolphin. So if he doesn't pick up where he left off 2019 and carry that into 2020, it could be a problem. You also look at the right side of the offensive line. Outside of what we see on the left side with Taylor Lewan and company and how dominant they are, if on the right side, if Nate Davis doesn't take that next step in year two, and if they can't figure out the starting right tackle position, if it's not going to be Isaiah Wilson, if he struggles out there as a rookie, or if Kelly can't do his part and hold up that anchor on the right side, it could be a problem for Tennessee's offense going into the season. The road to the Super Bowl for the Titans goes as follows. Number one, Ryan Tannehill has to continue to elevate his game. We saw record numbers for him last season. Completion percentage, yards per attempt is huge. If that can carry over to this season, and he also continues to be a little bit more of a threat in the passing game, taking some calculated risks downfield, they could have a shot. Both sides of the line of scrimmage have to strengthen. There are some slight question marks going into the season with those two sides of the football. The right side of the offensive line we talked about, and we also talked about the defensive line losing Jarrell Casey. So you talk about point of attack play with Tennessee was great last year. That has to be the case again this year. And if Corey Davis can step up and match what we saw from A.J. Brown, they'll have a potent 1-2 punch along with their run game, along with a very good opportunistic defense, which should be enough to get them down to Tampa Bay this upcoming February. I have Tennessee finishing third in the AFC South. This is going to be a tough team from start to finish because they can run the football. They're going to be solid in the front seven as far as how they are in stopping the run and also getting after the quarterback. Plus, they're opportunistic on the back end with their secondary. But I do think when you look at their offense, passing the football will be where they have to make significant growth this upcoming season with Ryan Tannehill and that receiving core. If they're able to bring balance, then they'll work their way up the AFC South standing pretty quickly. So that's it for this edition of the Football Game Plan NFL All 32 show. I am Emery Hunt, the czar of the playbook. Be sure to follow me on all of my social media accounts. And don't forget to check out and subscribe to the Football Game Plan Network located at youtube.com/footballgameplan. Also subscribe on iTunes to Football Game Plan Podcast and leave us a 5-star rating. That's where you can find our NFL All 32 podcast. And keep it locked here on our Football Game Plan Network for a host of Titans-related video content coming down the pike.
It's D-U-E, you tell I see you by this point, you're reading my mind. It's time for football. We about to keep this thing moving. I'm about it, you're with it, let's do it. We gon' make this thing official, you heard me? If you're the best, then let's prove it. The goal is set to have a team become a unit, man. We about to keep this thing moving. I'm about it, you're with it, let's do it. We gon' make this thing official, you heard me? If you're the best, then let's prove it. The goal is set to have a team become a unit, yeah.